I am here with Jake One, superstar DJ producer. So Jake, how'd you get into this game?
I just got into the game being a fan. I mean, it was, I've been in hip hop since it's kind of like the first music I can really remember.
What's the first track that you heard?
That I ever heard?
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I would say the first stuff that stuck with me was like early Sugar Hill, Grandmaster Flash, It's Nasty.
Okay, so
stuff like
you
that.
got cred.
I was 6, 7 years old.
That's that's serious. For a lot of people, it begins at like Jay-Z and then.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Very weird.
I definitely don't have his perspective, so that was just what it was. It, you know what I mean? Being a break-in and writing graffiti and everything. You know what I mean? It was like.
But what took you to the next? I mean, there's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of people listening, but you took it to the next step, and you wanted to actually participate. So, what was the thing that brought you?
I would say the moment that got me into it, made me think I could do it, was when I was a freshman in high school in Garfield. A good friend of mine, H-Bomb, who was in this group called Sensimilla, which is in Tribal.
Okay.
He lived like maybe 3 houses away from me, and he had bought this James Brown tape, and we were listening to hip hop, is what we were into, and we listened to the tape and was like, damn, this is all the songs, you know what I mean? It was literally every song that was hot at the time was off of like that tape. So it was just kind of like, damn, we just find a record. So then we kind of even understood the process of what it was, and then we went out and started buying records.
So the actual process of you hearing it and going like, they just basically took that chunk, repeated it, and rapped over it. I could do that.
Yeah.
So it started with James Brown. That's very philosophical, because in many ways it has.
It did, yeah.
James Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
What were the first tools that you started to work with?
I think the first thing we had was like a Casio, one of those voice samplers.
Oh my God!
A real primitive one. And
it's a museum piece.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty.
Okay.
So we would, I think there was an input, a headphone jack or something.
Mm-hmm.
We'd hook the stereo up to the headphone jack and literally sit there and do a whole song like that. You know what I mean? And so you loop that part, and then you find another sound. And you just go over the beat, like the whole time. And that was, that was just toying around with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first stuff we ever did. And then I want to say a year later, I got a job in the summer. I think I was working at Taco Time or something.
Right.
Saved up like $500 and just went in the paper and bought First Thing Said sampler. And I went and bought it. I didn't even know what it did or how it did it. And I basically spent the whole summer just playing around with that thing.
Really? How many hours did you spend usually after you got it?
Man, when I first got it, it's not. I mean, now I don't have the same. It's not as exciting as it was then, obviously. But I mean, I would sit 5-6 hours at a time just trying to figure out how to work it.
Did you throw away the manual, or did you actually?
I don't even think it came with a manual. I don't read the manual on any of my equipment.
Okay.
Do
you advise that?
No. It's better to find somebody that knows how to. Yeah, it's better to find somebody that knows how to use it and can show you the little tricks.
Okay.
But when you don't read the manual, it's going to take you longer, but you'll also develop your own way of doing it, which will in turn give you your own sound.
Okay. So what do you do? There's a bunch of questions I got for you.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you're what do you do for inspiration? Do you listen to other music? Do you take a walk outside? Do you spend time with friends? Like, well, what inspires you to get up in the morning, or stop doing what you're doing and go make music?
I would say it's more just listening to other songs. Like, I know a song to me is good if it makes me want to go do something better than that, or at least as good as it. And usually that's kind of where it starts. There's been times where I'll, be out with friends or whatever, and I'll have something in my head, but it won't really relate to whatever's going on.
Okay.
But yeah, it's usually, it's hearing other people's music, whether it could be some hip hop or, old music, or, it could be anything.
Okay. So your ears are always open. You don't close them.
Yeah. I mean, it just hits you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you take us through just just rudimentary? How do you start the process of making a beat?
I usually, sometimes if I'm playing, it'll be a little different. I have an idea in my head, but usually I'll sit here and play a record or something, and I was listening to this LTD song, which had already been sampled a bunch of times, but sometimes if I don't really have a good idea to do anything, I'll just sample something and try to do something totally different with it. So I'll sample something, put it on, chop it up, put it on all the different keys, and I'll basically try to come up with my own interpretation of it. I don't even remember how I just did this. I did this like, 20 minutes ago, but so I started with this as like kind of a main little 2-bar loop. Then I sampled some drums.
Why do you like this? This is the
ASR 10.
Why do you like it?
I think the way I work, I don't really know what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and I kind of just can experiment really fast and easily. Whereas other machines, I think you have to think it out a little more. And for whatever reason, this is good for moving on the fly, and I can run through stuff really fast on it.